Welcome exiles. Today I woke up on the beach and decided that I wanted to drag my balls across shattered glass. And so I warmly welcome you to the first episode of Zero to Hero, Fresh Start Hardcore SSF. The build of my choice is going to be a Corrupting Cry Totems Warbringer. Well, wish me luck. Of course, we start this run by clapping the bloated Miller, poor guy, and unfortunately not dropping anything useful right off the bat. I do however find a very decent one-handed mace with increased physical damage. It sure made the first few bosses quite a walk in the park. Throughout this run I am going to be generally talking about what I'm doing, and I'll try to give the best tips and tricks I can along the way to try and make your next campaign run a little easier. I start off by grabbing Rolling Slam and Bone Shatter, which is the standard combo for warriors in the beginning for some decent clear. I get a little lucky with two-handed maces, finding an alright one off the ground, but shortly after slamming a white dual socket base with increased physical damage, which felt really nice. A nice rare shield too. Always be on the lookout for iron rings from Una, and generally in Act 1 as they are a big damage boost. There's a little trick with the Grim Tangle where you can skip Una singing by respawning at the checkpoint after you speak to her. Saves a bit of time. I found the exit to the cemetery first, but I wanted to go back and kill the boss. Remember what I said about iron rings? Well, here in the cemetery there's a sarcophagus with a guaranteed ring. It may not be an iron one, and unfortunately it wasn't for me, but there's always a chance. One after another, they fall to the sheer size of my biceps. You can use the same trick as with the Grim Tangle, speak to Lachlan and respawn at the checkpoint to skip his quite long dialogue. I was listening to Darth in the background in the next few clips and I didn't realise the recording was picking it up, so sorry about that. I entered Freythorn and quickly found out that I was not ready yet. As you can see, I was very much struggling and eventually just decided to leave and come back in a couple of levels. Found some little upgrades, and a couple of skill points later I was back from where I had just escaped, and this time they quivered at the size of my hammer, of course. The supposed King of the Mists couldn't even make me flinch. Another walk in the park. With my newly acquired spirit, I wasn't sure what to go for, so I chose Scavenge Plating because I wanted to go for more defense, but that was a mistake, because I didn't read that for it to work you have to actually fully break armor, so that was a waste of a spirit gem, but it's fine. Some of these abyssal rares seemed harder than the actual bosses, I'm not gonna lie. I decided to invest into two-handed weapons in the tree because I felt like my defenses were pretty good and I had just found an insane base with increased physical damage and attack speed. And if that wasn't enough, I got ridiculously lucky slamming +2 levels of melee skills. I just had to make it a dual socket and increase the physical damage even further. You can see my DPS tooltip just about doubling. For this level, that's pretty nuts. Remember to always salvage any gear with sockets or quality as opposed to just selling it, as you'll get artificial shards for sockets and armor/weapon scraps for quality. My fight with the executioner was quite the execution on my side. This is the first moment I nearly bit the dust. The corridors in the manor can be so tight with so many dead ends, and I got blocked by an abyssal swarm, barely making it out alive. This abyss was so cracked, no pun intended. It had 2 rares with annoying modifiers and they were being protected by magical ranged mobs. I resorted to hugging a corner while spamming my totems at them. I had finally made it to good old Geonor. I was scared, I'm not gonna lie, but my damage was pretty good. Just had to be really careful watching his attacks. My god, that was a close one. I admit, I was very lucky to survive that. And boom, just like that. Act 1 is ticked off the list, just 3 more to go. 2.5 hours to get here, definitely took my time, but it is my first attempt and I had to de-rust on the Warrior 2. Literally on the first map of Act 2 and I'm already feeling it. That lightning modifier on Abyssal Rares is dangerous, and it's not going to be the last time I feel that. For Wrathbreaker, you want to stand on the edge as low down as you can, because then the mobs on the cliff above you don't constantly shoot those annoying spears. This attack from Ruda is always so unexpected to me, I don't know why, and it hits really hard. I was desperate for a good body armor, so I tried to craft one. Turned out okay, probably not worth the currency, but still a lot better than what I had. Fighting Balbala on a melee build is so annoying, especially with totems. She moves around so much and the ground degens really don't help. I found a spirit gem, so I took Herald of Ash this time, which was definitely the right one to take in the beginning. My clear speed started to feel really nice. Also picked up Volcanic Fissure right after Jamanra, and although it was strong and even better for clear, it felt awful using it with such low attack speed due to my two-handed mace. I have no idea what happened here. Looks like I ate a combination of projectiles and ground strikes at the same time. Nevertheless, it nearly ended this run. It was so unexpected as well because this situation did not look dangerous at all. I suppose it is my fault for not looking and being aware of what's going on, and rolling into stuff. Trying to reach the Well of Souls was a pain as well, encountering many abyssal rares with that lightning strike modifier, and stumbling upon a room with a massive gaping green hole, which I did not know existed. I didn't find this any other time going through here, but since I'm here I thought I would give it a go. I also thought a boss would come out of it, which would have been pretty cool, but it was just a rare. I gotta say though, once you have decent clear and damage, doing these abysses along the way in the campaign feels great for loot and the XP. My first unique drop, and it's a bloody good one at that. I couldn't believe it, the Frozen Pork Ring. It's a great ring specifically for warriors, utilising Herald of Ice for massive screen-wide icy explosions. From this point onwards, I tried my best to find weapons with added cold damage, so that I could use this to my advantage. It was around this time as well that I was getting really sick of the slow attack speed. It was making bossing difficult, although my damage was good, and that's because I had to set up my damage by placing down Volcanic Fissure and my totems on top of that, as well as keeping a good uptime on Earthquake for Jagged Ground, and consistently using Rolling Slam to build up the stun meter faster, so that I could then use Bone Shatter for big damage. And by the time I did even half of that, the boss had moved halfway across the map. It was just frustrating, so I wanted to respec into one-handed weapons to solve that, and to further increase my defense because I could use a shield, as I was slowly approaching some of the harder bosses of Act 2. Ah, that's much better. I linked Leap Slam with Fist of War and really enjoyed how that felt with Bone Shatter, so I opted for that instead of Rolling Slam. Another unique drop, and a useful one at that. Unfortunately, I had just specced out two-handed weapons, so I didn't end up using it. Triple res gloves from Gambling, slamming 15% movement speed. It was time for the Ascendancy before we fought Jamanra. Very smooth experience, had no problems whatsoever. I am going Warbringer as mentioned before, and picking up the Warcry nodes straight away, so that I can start slowly transitioning to the Corrupting Cry build. I just need a level 3 support gem to pick up Corrupting Cry and link it with Infernal Cry. Got quite lucky with the amount of jewels that I got here too. So this is it, time for the last boss of Act 2, and here is how my stats are looking. Defense wise, really good. Lightning res capped, which if you're not aware is the primary damage of this boss. Armor at 75%, block at 42%, decent life pool, definitely felt ready. And to no surprise, I was borderline unkillable in this fight, could tank anything and had plenty of room to recover. The big downside though is that I was totally Z DPS, I'm not gonna lie. This was a long fight, but at least it was a safe one, eh? Well, I'm 6 hours in now, feeling pretty good and ready to tackle Act 3. Oh damn, a Lifespring unique wand. Pretty cool but not useful. I found this rare mace off the ground with an open affix, so I desecrated it as it was already pretty decent with flat physical and fire damage and attack speed. What a good choice that was, because 99% increased physical damage. Are you kidding me? This is exactly what I needed at that moment and I was ecstatic. All I had to do was level up once and it was mine to wield. I knew that in this area is where the monkey resides. And since the very beginning of this run, since the second I made this character, I told myself over and over again, I'm going to skip the monkey. I am not going to fight him. I'll come back later when he no longer poses a threat. And yet, I don't know what got over me, but I accidentally found him and my mind was shouting at me to run away, to not interact with him. But my heart felt courageous and my biceps thick. And so I set up my totems, watched him as he approached me, perfectly timed a dodge out of the way of his first slam. Being confident he wouldn't repeat another one straight away, I threw my forge hammer and leapt heroically into the monkey's hairy chest. Unfortunately, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. And just like that, my run was over. 7 hours of concentration and dedication ends here. But do not fear, since I have amassed a wealth of knowledge, and now more than ever, I am ready to go again. Thank you guys for watching this video. Bit of a different one from me, but probably the most fun I've had making a video in a long time. And I'm not joking, I am going again. Actually, I've just started Act 2 on my second run in half the time. It's looking real good. Make sure you stay tuned for more. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, it means a lot. And as always, stay exiled.